Yeah, well, I guess like I'm still curious, on the productizing side or finding that like single build is the challenge. Obviously, like once you found the customer, you have to maintain probably some level of standardization, like quality. Like what I
Mm.
would say like challenges come in at that point that are different than one-off builds because I think
Oh my
it's
gosh. Yeah, gosh, great question. Like, think about it. So we're going to build a robotic system for, XYZ company. And XYZ company, they want all Allen Bradley and they want all, they have their list of preferred vendors that they want us to use. Well, we would always try to stick to our preferred vendors, which would be ABB. Like we've never integrated any other robot than ABB, but and so you kind of bounce around as a system integrator, trying to ebb and flow in between these customers on custom systems, right? And you got to be flexible on that because some want something different than somebody else. When you go to standardization, well,
Mhm.
boy, that's a different world because now, in one way, it's a good thing because you can kind of dictate, like, what are we going to use? Well, we are going to go and we pick BNR as our PLC platform, and it's just because ABB bought BNR, and we think that that synergy is a really good synergy there. So we standardized on BNR. Great. So now we have BNR, but now you got to standardize everything, right? And you think a repeat build is just a repeat build? It's not. It's not. I mean, you got always got design iterations, and now you got, process improvements and, manufacturing. You want to decrease manufacturing costs, and you can because you're building more than one. Um, so yeah, so Vlad, is that kind of where you're going, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I always kind of had that idea that it would be all like in the details, but it's interesting to hear. Again, because in my mind, you have to be flexible enough with your, I would say, suppliers, but also vendors. But at the same time, you have to maintain standards. So I don't know. I guess not having been maybe in that situation, it would be difficult to picture what truly goes into it. But I can only imagine how, again, there's like a fine line or like a gray area between again what you choose to change or choose to like be very rigid on. So it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and look, for House of Design, not all of it, but a lot of it came back to software and like
Hmm.
true software. Like we had 5 to 10 software engineers on staff, true software engineers. So we were developing, software applications that fed into the automation. And that's a huge part of what enabled us to do. Um, I mean, think of a roof truss. I think everybody has seen a roof truss. Well, I can tell you that spec homes have, roof truss packages, but roof trusses are snowflakes. Like they're all different. So somebody designs a house, like those roof trusses have never been designed before. So there's, the component industry out there that builds roof trusses. Well, we had a design software that took the design, deconstructed it, sequenced it, and then put it into a format for the automation. So anyway, that's the
Wow.
software engineering side of the business. But think about, like, right now, a huge deal for us is supply chain. And I think everybody, as soon as I say that out there, everybody's like, oh my gosh, yeah, supply chain. Well, gosh, we're being told, 26 weeks for certain components. And oh, by the way, we don't know when we're going to get you the components. Like that's tough, right? Especially when you standardize to it.
So what does that mean
Especially,
from like a practical standpoint? Does that mean you're looking outside of ABB BNR, or is that other components? I'm just curious again. What impact does that drive?
yeah, our preference for sure is not to look outside and to work with our vendors to be able to, make sure that we can, do blanket POs for big purchases going up front. But obviously, you got to de-risk the business too, and the team is actively looking at other options if our current vendors can't supply us, the equipment we need. So.